evening, race fans, and welcome in to the Kansas Speedway once again. That's right, a 3-night stopover here at the Kansas Speedway on round number 2 of that 3 nights. And tonight, it's Monday night. You know what that means. It's the NORA Truck Series 2023 in the playoffs, live here on VirtualRacing.Network. I'm Trevor Greenfield. I will be your play caller as always, and I'll be joined here tonight by none other than Christian Snyder. And Christian, it's so great to have you with us again. Christian, you got a team in the league. You are a veteran sim racer, and you seem to know all the ins and outs. What can we expect here at Kansas Speedway?
We should expect a very wild race. These trucks are pretty much wide open for the most part, except for whenever you're in traffic, you got to check up a little bit because it gets a little tight. So expect some 3-wide racing, possibly some 4-wide racing on the front stretch or back stretch. These trucks get pretty wild here at Kansas. A lot of people in the league call it mini Daytona. So it gets pretty hectic out there. I'm a former winner, actually, in the Truck Series here at Kansas. So I think I know what it takes to get it done here, and it's a great track. I've always loved it. And it's really cool tonight, so it's going to be really grippy, and these guys aren't going to get too loose here tonight.
Well, as we check in, of course, we are in the middle of the playoffs, and this is the last round to make it in for the cutoff heading forward, and the top 8 will make it in. Fortunately, but unfortunately, one of the championship contenders not able to make it tonight, and that is Christopher Heights, who is welcoming a new baby. But unfortunately, he won't be able to attend tonight's race. So unfortunately for him, he will get bounced from the playoffs. But there are still several drivers trying to make it in, as we see Nick Eilis, one of those drivers who actually still needs to get in on points, even despite the fact that Heights won't be able to make the race. So we'll go over those points here in just a moment. Tim Harper headed out there right now to try to get qualified. He's already got his first lap in the books. He's going to try and go a little bit faster here. And in the meantime, we're seeing some of our other drivers just heading out there on the track. Here's Torrin Schertz. He's one of those drivers that also needs to get in on points, but it's looking much better now that Heights not able to make it, and actually Heights checking in over on YouTube. So great to have him there. And also, Mark Bremkamp says he's working on his real-life race car while he serves his suspension. That's unfortunate, as he's basically the best of the rest in the points, but hopefully you're having a fun time working on the race truck and the race car, and you get a chance to see a great race here from Kansas. If last night is any indicator, Christian, it's going to be a wild barn burner tonight.
Yes, I mean 6/1000ths of a second was the margin last night. Let's see if the Truck Series might, get 5/1000ths or something. It's going to be a hectic race, so we're going to have a type of finish like that more than likely. As we see Ronnie Norman and his teammates all taking first, second, and third currently. Sable, Norman, and Couts.
Well, and I've completely neglected to mention tonight's focus, which I wanted to get straight in and get to qualifying. But, of course, it is the Never Forget 200. And, of course, that is in memory of September 11th, 2001. It seems so long ago, but it's still in our hearts and our minds every single year that this date rolls around, and we certainly appreciate the NORA Truck Series remembering and bringing that awareness back to all of us. We all kind of remember where we were on September 11th. It's etched into our minds when we saw what we saw that day, but our hearts obviously still with all those who were affected by that terrible day, and certainly all of us were affected in some way. We all have a story to tell about it and how it affected our world. I was actually working at a theme park the day I was supposed to go into work, and We had no plan for any sort of activity like that, and when I came back into work, there was a lot of confused people. We were drawing up evacuation plans, all kinds of interesting things, and fortunately, our world has kind of gotten back to normal a little bit. We can do some sim racing and not be rushing off to go to war, and it's a good thing to remember as we get a chance to enjoy ourselves out there tonight and get to watch these great sim racers race under the lights here for the NORA Truck Series 2022, the Never Forget 200, round number 19 of the NORA Truck Series 2023 from Kansas. So with that, Eric Sable going to be starting on pole positions. Congratulations to him. We'll get the starting grid up here for you in just a moment. And make it official. There it is, Eric Sable, top of the list. Congratulations, and no real surprise there. Speedy guy that Eric is, racing for that JRC Sim team. Congratulations there in order. But Ronnie Norman, his teammate at JRC, in second place alongside. And look at that, JRC makes it 3 in a row. Everett Couch in third. Josh Conover going to be starting in fourth place. And on that third row will be Blade Timmons and Timothy Harper, Torrin Schertz and Matthew George, and then Sean Briscoe and Brad Fulham. Cody Reeder and Dylan Walterman make up the next row. And starting in 13th is going to be Todd Slauson. Alongside him will be Cody Height. Jacob Gladelich will be next to Joshua O'Connor. Corey Danielson alongside of Brian Jones. Jacob Malone in 19th, and starting next to him in 20th, David McGuire, he's our only independent in the field here tonight. In that number 23 machine. Jacob Malone will be starting in 20th. Nick Geilis going in 21st place. Difficult for him. He's going to have to come through the field here tonight if he's going to score those points and stay in the playoffs. And Patrick Coluccio and Mark Morton are going to be starting on that final row. Christian, this is a long race. We've got, of course, we've got 3 stages coming up here tonight. So what are your thoughts on race strategy coming into tonight?
Well, if you're one of these chase drivers, it's stay up front for the first stage here. Probably stay out the entire stage, get as many points as you can. Rest of the race, though, it's going to be 4 tires anytime you can get it. And make sure that you're able to conserve tires. This track, we saw it in the Cup Series yesterday. It eats up tires, but these trucks are able to handle the track a little bit better. But here we come into the restart zone or start zone, and the green flag in the air for round 19 at Kansas.
We're ready to go. We're charging into turn number 1, and it's Eric Sable out to a clear lead. Everett Couch now slots into that second place. Ronnie Norman files back into 4th as Blade Timmons moves forward now up into that 3rd spot.
Blade Timmons in the 3, making a good move underneath Ronnie Norman. The inside lane works for a little while, maybe about 3 or 4 laps, full throttle on the bottom. It works pretty well, but the top is going to be the way to go later in the race. But oh my goodness, it was 4 wide back through the field. These guys still sorting positions out. This track, you see that typically, 4 wide because there's 4 lanes that work here. So every truck in the field is going to use a different line here tonight.
While Sean Briscoe for the Capital Motor Club charges up through the field, now up 3 spots. And just like that, Blade Timmons now moves into sole possession of that 2nd spot. Well, just as soon as I say that, here comes Everett Couch back on the outside. We're going 3 wide down the front stretch for a moment.
Yeah, something else I didn't mention is drafting is going to be huge here. These trucks, they're going to draft up, and whenever you see 2 trucks side by side, that's going to allow the truck that's behind them to really advance on their position. But you can see right now, Blade Timmons making the inside work. He's underneath Eric Sable already. Torn Shirt's going to choose to go with Sable on the top for now. He will continue to help draft with Sable here on the outside, but it looks like the three of Timmons going to clear up. Possibly not clear. Sable's still going to be on his outside there. And now you see, since they were side by side, Torn Shirts, it's a good run into the corner, almost gets into Blade Timmons.
But Everett Couch drops way back with that maneuver. So they still continue to fight it out for second place, side by side for third and fourth. But Couch drops back into that fifth spot. Sean Briscoe still hanging in the middle of that group as well. Sable still side by side with Torn Shirts down the backstretch. They head into turn number 3. And this is one of those tracks, Christian, where you could just keep doing this lap after lap. This should be a lot of fun here tonight.
Yeah, every single lap we're going to see somebody 2 wide, possibly 3 wide. This is why I absolutely love this track. It's some of the greatest racing in NASCAR currently to this day. As we see a lot of people using the bottom still. It's still working for now, but the top also getting good runs on the backstretch. As you see, Eric Sable gets to the outside almost to Blade Timmons. Man, that's really tight there between Torn Shirts and Sable. Sable's got a good run here on the 3. I think the outside's starting to come in now. Oh, he gets side drafted by the 33 there and pulls him back a little bit. Timmons going to clear because of that side draft by Torn Shirts.
This is some amazing racing. Here we are on lap number 7, still racing like it's the first lap of the race. There's Eric Sable right up behind Timmons. He makes it known in Timmons' rearview mirror that he is there and wants that position back. Timmons has moved to the front, taken over. He's got that 3, that Napa number 3 out there doing like Napa knows.
And I tell you what, Sable's not going to be happy with me bringing this up, but the last time he was here at Kansas, he was in position to win going into the final corners and got turned from behind and lost it going out of 4. So he wants redemption here at Kansas. And oh man, Torn, he thought he was going to go high there and almost came up into Blade Timmons there, but Blade now going to fall back to 3rd. Torn, good run through turns 1 and 2.
Spicy action here at Kansas as Torn Shirts has come forward 5 positions, but now starting to suffer a little bit. We'll see whether or not these tires start to give out at all. Lots more side-by-side racing a little bit further back. You can see Briscoe now in this pack, so he's come back a little ways. This group, wow, now side-by-side between the 18 and the 85. That's Joshua O'Connor and Cody Reeder. O'Connor now officially in the NORA Truck Series. And Cody Reeder just trying to get through this one. But Cody, one of those drivers who is in this championship hunt. Of course, on the left-hand side, you'll see in red all of those drivers that are part of this playoffs championship for the NORA Truck Series. And now 3 wide down the backstretch we go. This is some tight action here, Christian.
Yeah, they were 3 wide there. O'Connor in the 18 almost came down into Briscoe, but they were able to keep it straight here. And they are still battling throughout the entire field. The lead, they're still battling here. Sable trying to build a run here using the outside. He's going to drop low, mid-corner, get some fresh air to the front of that truck. Whenever you're behind a truck, it pushes to the wall. All that dirty air will get you really tight, so he's going to go down low, get clean air, try to make a run here on the 33 of Torn Shirts.
Shirts still holding on. He had just gotten by Sable, and just like that, Sable now trying to challenge back for the lead. Anything but settled here in the opening going of this race.
Oh, man.
Shirt's real loose, brings it down to the inside, and it looks like Sable going to take over the lead for a moment, but here comes Shirts again. I don't even know how Shirts got a run on him, and he almost makes contact there at the end of the back straight.
Yeah, he didn't get loose. He was trying to cross him over, and Sable was trying to block that crossover. So they almost made contact on the backstretch with Torn trying to go low. But he does get to the low side, but it doesn't work out because Sable pinches him. So Sable still the leader here, the 33 of Torn Shirts in second. Ronnie Norman has moved into third now, has passed Blade Timmons, and Josh Conover up to fifth.
So some of these drivers sliding around. Norman had started in second place. He dropped back into third. Blade Timmons is now just up one position into that fourth spot, but it looks like Ronnie Norman going to try the low line. Quite a few of these drivers now trying to get by on that low line, including Josh Conover. Tim Harper now getting close into this mix as well. Here comes Ronnie Norman on that low side, trying to make that work and get the pass done on Torin.
It looks like we got a 5-car breakaway for this lead, but now you see Norman side by side with Torn Shirts. That allowed Sable to break out his lead to about half a second because of these guys being side by side. So these guys got to figure it out soon, or else Sable will walk away and they won't be able to draft back up to him. So look at the run there by Conover trying to get underneath Blade Timmons, and does.
And Timmons moves up as Conover dips down low, trying to take that position. Side by side they go. And Christian, there's a lot of patriotic race schemes, paint schemes in the field. Of course, you see Josh Conover sporting one of those there with the American flag on the nose of his truck, and so much more going on with that paint scheme. We'll take a look later on. Racing with the National Guard on board, and Ronnie Norman moves up in front of Torin Shirts and about takes off his nose of that truck.
Yeah, these guys are racing like it's the last lap right now. They are having fun out here. Ronnie gonna push Torn a little bit, dives low, going into 3 here, trying to make that inside lane work. But all this battling is allowing Sable to pull away still. He's out to a 3/4 second of a lead now.
Well, again, we're going to lap number 30 for this first stage, but these drivers racing, like you said, like it's the last lap of the stage. Just trying to get that position and get up there and try and fight to get up to the lead of this. And, you know, these points here in the playoffs are not reset after each round. So these drivers going to have to fight. And now we go almost three wide there down the front straight. But as I said, they're fighting for every single point because they know that this could lead. Even just getting these stage points could help them lead a charge into taking the championship at the end of this season. So got to fight for every single point that's available. Torin Shirts also knows he's going to need some points here tonight just to stay in the playoffs. But as long as Nick Eilis doesn't really beat him on track, he should be pretty safe.
Yeah, and just to correct you there, the points do reset at each round to an extent. The playoff points that they had throughout the season will carry over, but the points that they earned through these 3 races, other than playoff points, will not carry over to the next round.
Well, and that's what I mean. These extra points do matter going forward, so you certainly do want to get up there and try and get the win if possible and try and win these stages. But either way, just trying to get through this race, and of course everybody wants to go home with the victory, get in that W column. Some of these drivers actually, such as Torin Shirts, haven't even seen the win column yet here in the Truck Series this season. So they would love to be able to get up there. And I don't think Schertz has even taken a stage win yet. So any of these milestones would be very welcome for Torrin Schertz, as well as look at some of these other drivers. Tim Harper would love to get up there and get a win out of this thing. Sean Briscoe, can you believe that this guy has not gotten a win yet this season? It's unbelievable, but he hasn't. Nevertheless, Eric Sable has taken a couple of victories, and he may be en route to at least a stage victory here for the Never Forget 200 for the NORA Truck Series. Looking at Schertz and Norman racing side by side. I tell you what, Schertz does not want, is doing everything he can to hold on to position. Doesn't matter who comes up and challenges him. He is willing to run side by side. He's not going to give it up.
Yeah, Torrin actually was blocking Ronnie down the front stretch. He moved up in front of him, took the outside, then Ronnie went underneath him, and Torrin couldn't block that run. And that's what allowed him to get through in 1 and 2 and make some headway. But now Ronnie's going to clear the 33 and brings Josh Conover with him with the draft there, and he'll clear the 33 as well.
So Norman will get up there. There's Conover. Schertz finally dropping back to 4th place on the track. Blake Timmons back in 5th, and Tim Harper in 6th place at the moment, but it's all Eric Sable through this first stage, holding on very well up in front. Now pulling out over a second lead for Sable, and that's exactly what he wants to see out his rear view. He's got no challenges whatsoever on board. Eric Sable just having a Monday night cruise around here, kind of enjoying himself. Not getting any real challenges at the moment, but everything could reset itself as we get into stage number 2. Everybody gets some fresh tires, and we attack it again. Here we go. Ronnie Norman, though, now starting to pull ahead of Josh Conover, give himself a little bit of a gap, as Conover has now pulled a small gap over Torrin Schertz, and it's starting to finally settle down here in the front as we approach the end of stage number 1.
Yeah, what's crazy, though, it takes 25 laps for these guys to calm down. That's when the tires kind of start getting a little worn and they can't make as many aggressive moves through the corners that they would like. And now you can see everyone just single file throughout the field, but now we see Cody Reeder trying to make a move here on Jacob Malone in the 93 for a new team that I forgot to mention to you. TRD from the Cup Series opened up a truck, and that's that 93 there, the DoorDash. That's supposed to be Jake Christenberry's ride, but he let Jacob Malone run it for tonight.
Okay, so it's no longer so Malone's ride. What's the name of that team now?
TRD, or Prestige TRD from the Cup Series.
I see. Is it just the 93 truck?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Christenberry opened the team down here in the trucks, giving Jacob Malone a ride here tonight. So that surprised me. Last minute I found out about it. Forgot to mention it to you. But they've had success up in the Cup Series, so interesting to see what they can do down here in the trucks as the caution comes out for the stage. And a little battle there right at the end between Jacob Malone and Todd Slauson. A little contact at the line.
Well, one heck of a front stage here for the Never Forget 200, the NORA Truck Series 2023 playoffs at Kansas. Eric Sable made it look easy in that first stage. He just kind of got up there and took the position away from Blake Timmons and Torrin Schertz, and then he just kind of walked off in the distance. Something tells me it's not going to be quite so easy in stage number 2. We're going to take a momentary break here on VirtualRacing.Network. We'll be back with driver interview and lots more green flag action. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. Eric Sable got out first, but it was Josh Conover who got out second. Ronnie Norman pushed back to third. Blade Timmons in fourth, and Torrin Schurz will be fifth. But we have a chance to chat with Eric Sable, who just won the stage. And Christian, I think you have some questions for our stage winner, Eric Sable.
Yeah, Eric, you get a playoff point to advance you to the next round here, if you advance, I should say. You feeling confident here tonight that you can get redemption from the last time you were here at Kansas?
Oh, absolutely. This JRC 17 Mobile 1 Ford F-150 is pretty strong right now. It's almost like Talladega out here. It's just pretty crazy, honestly. I'm sure you see it on the broadcast. Everybody's all over the place, getting momentum on the top line. Seems like the bottom's pretty good, probably for the first 15 laps. Doesn't eat up the tires, so we'll have to see how this race plays out. Still a long way to go.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, last time you were here at Kansas, you had an incident on the last lap and lost it on the last lap, so hopefully you can get redemption here tonight and get the win this time.
Yeah, hopefully redemption pays off here. I believe we're like 50 some odd points above the cut line, so I think we're good for this round, but hey, a win is a win. I'll take a win whenever we can get one. So, let's go and get this W and finish off the night here. Go on to Bristol.
All right, well, good luck the rest of the night here. Hopefully you can win another stage and get another playoff point. And, of course, winning tonight, you would get 5 playoff points to go to the next round. So good luck here the rest of the night.
Thanks, bud.
So that is Eric Sable, and not a moment too soon, he's about to go back to the green flag. We don't have that much time to actually do those interviews, and some tracks you get more time than others, but we are back underway, and Sable, no trouble whatsoever getting that lead back. Ronnie Norman in second, but look at this gaggle behind as they stay side by side. There's Briscoe that's moved up now into that 4th spot. What a great move for Briscoe.
Yeah, he gained a lot of spots there on pit road. Moved up now to the top 5. So Briscoe's one of those guys that needs those, those stage points just to make himself a little bit more comfortable to make it to the next round. He should be, in theory, locked in as of right now, but he just wants to secure it with a couple more points. And these battles, they're going to continue for, like I said before, the first 20 laps of the run. You're going to see these guys side by side. And now look at this, Tim Harper pushing Cody Reeder down the backstretch there. That was a bold move there. Almost over pushed Cody into the corner.
We've got some great action here at Kansas. There you're on board with Tim Harper, looking at the backside of Cody Reeder. And I think there's a lot of drivers that would love to get a win here tonight. I mean, it would be so meaningful to them. Tim Harper, one of those drivers. Torrin Schurz, another. Cody Reeder would absolutely love to get up there and get into the playoffs. But we'll see whether or not, I mean, and get a win in the column. But we'll see whether or not they can manage to make some passes, be in the right place at the right time in this race. You see Harper there on the outside.
Almost made contact. He tried side drafting Reeder in the middle of the corner. Now he's going to bump draft him down the backstretch. I don't know if anyone has informed him this is not Talladega. Even though it acts like it, it's not. But he's pushing like it is. You see behind him his teammate giving him a little shove now. O'Connor there in the 18, working with his teammate Tim Harper and team owner.
Well, you
giving him a little draft.
And yeah, and you can see that clearly he is truly filling in for Christopher Heights, as the name tag still says Heights up on the truck itself. But it's great that he was able to find a replacement, and O'Connor has some serious talent as we're 3 wide back here, a little bit further back for just a moment. There, 3 wide into turn number 1. Vladelich, Walterman, and
Cody Height.
Cody Height on
16
YouTube.
there.
There's another one of the patriotic paint schemes in the field.
Man, I tell you what, seeing Brian Jones back in 18th and 19th right now, what is going on with that 45 truck? He was one of those guys who was involved in that last lap incident last time we were here at Kansas, battling for the win.
Indeed, that is an excellent question. Perhaps he's just saving himself, saving his truck, waiting and biding his time. Perhaps it's a little bit more action here tonight than he was expecting, but definitely Brian Jones sitting towards the back right now. And a lot of hot and heavy action happening here in the back. There's action all over this racetrack. We go back to the front, and look how close Ronnie Norman is now to Eric Sable. Will we see a pass? Storm and Norman on the move.
Yeah, Norman, I'm expecting he's going to go for the win, but I think he'll let his teammate get this stage and kind of work with him throughout this stage to help him get a playoff point for the next round. But when it comes to Norman and winning races, he likes winning, so he'll do whatever it takes, I'm sure.
Well, Josh Conover sitting back there in 3rd place, having to defend as well. Torn shirt in 4th, Blake Timmons in 5th, and Sean Briscoe is moved up into that 6th position. Sean now drifts to the outside on Blake Timmons. Cody Reeder now into that mix. So still so many battles happening here tonight. Continue to watch on. Our next stage will be lap number 60. So we watch on for that.
18 to go.
Indeed.
I can do math. You know, it's sometimes hard.
That's the main thing. You need to be able to make change.
Anything added to 0 is still 0, right?
Seems like I've heard that somewhere before.
Oh, it looks like Torn Shirt's going to have a good rundown on the backstretch here on Josh Conover. He's using that top. I've said it many times before. The top, it's my favorite lane to run here at Kansas. You know, get right up against the wall, flirt with danger. It's always fun whenever you can run inches away from the wall and get speed. So you can see, look how high up on the track he is. Not quite as high as Kyle Larson or Tyler Reddick would be if they were here, but he is definitely high up on the track above that white dotted line is where you want to run. And he's doing a good job on the top. But now Ronnie Norman, he's blocking the inside there, trying to help his teammate a little bit. Conover had a good run, went to the bottom. Ronnie went with him. Look at the run that Torn gets into the corner.
That is a great entry into the corner. Usually that high line is better off the corner, but he really gets a launch into the corner on that high line. I guess it just depends on what part of the tire cycle you're on.
Yeah, the problem with doing that is typically you're full throttle going into the corner on the top, whereas the guys that are on the bottom, they're lifting a little bit and saving their tires, not putting as much pressure into them. So you're able to almost save better on the bottom than you are the top. Whereas you don't have to put much wheel in it up top, but with being on the throttle, you burn up the rear tires a lot more than you do on the inside.
Well, here comes Josh Conover forward. He's not afraid to try to take second place and possibly push his nose up there for first.
He's the owner, or not necessarily the owner, but he's his name is on the team that's in front of him, so maybe he's over there yelling, hey, help me out here.
Chris Height letting us know in the YouTube chat room, Jones knows how to save like crazy. So perhaps that's the answer, and maybe he's trying to save tires, save fuel, one or the other. So we see Conover continuing to race side by side with Ronnie Norman.
It's going to be hard to get in between these two teammates there of the 6 and 9. They work really well together and are friends off the track and on the track, so it's going to be hard to get in between them, but Conover is certainly trying here. He's almost clear. Oh, not clear. Oh, man.
Not clear, but Josh forces his way up there and makes Ronnie
I think Ronnie
think
cut
about
him a break there.
Yeah. So Conover...
I was going to say, Ronnie's another one of those guys with an American flag on his truck as well. He's got it on the deck lid there, as you can see as he passes by here. Love seeing all these cars out here with the American flag.
And we've got a challenge now for the lead. So Conover trying to take that lead away from what is effectively his sister team at JRC Sim Team. Interesting to see Conover trying to make that, but once again, you got to remember, Conover and Sable are fighting against each other for this championship. And
look at this!
As you see Ronnie Norman try to take the low side advantage on Josh Conover and not able to quite pull it off, but almost got a nose on Conover before Conover came down to block him.
I think Norman right now is saying, okay, Josh, I see how it is. I'll remember that for later in the race.
Well, again, Norman not part of this playoffs championship run. He doesn't race for driver points in the NORA Truck Series. So he's free to just kind of protect Eric Sable, and if he wants to try to get up there and take the win, he can do that. There's not really necessarily extra incentive for him to do that, but Conover and Sable racing for that championship, so they're going to go at it. I mean, you would think that since Conover basically is the owner of the team, or at least it has his name on it, you'd think that he'd be polite and just wait it out and let Eric Sable have the stage win, but once again, it's all gloves are off, and I think if you think he's going to be polite and just let someone else take all the points, you must not really know Josh Conover.
Yeah, he's going to do everything it takes to get by this 9 car. He wants an extra playoff point to help with a cushion going into the next round because him and Brian Jones are neck and neck playoff point wise. So he's got to capitalize anywhere he can to gain on him, but still just trying to get side by side with Eric and just unable because Eric is running that top and getting so much momentum off the corner and onto the straightaways.
Well, Conover has a great line, just trying to fight it out and trying to get that position, but if you notice, that's kind of allowed Sean Briscoe and Cody Reeder to get up closer into this battle. In fact, here comes Cody Reeder. He passes Sean Briscoe, and now he is just a few truck lengths away from Ronnie Norman up in front. So what was a kind of single file spread out race has now kind of closed back up with all this battling between Sable and Conover.
Yeah, that was a textbook slide job there by Cody Reeder on Sean Briscoe there for the position. And Briscoe, another one of those playoff drivers, trying to get as many points as he can. But man, Conover just trying everything he can to make that bottom work. But Sable, he's running that outside lane almost to perfection. Conover's just hoping that Sable can make a mistake here before the stage ends, because I think without a mistake, Sable... a mistake by Josh gets into Sable. Oh man, that's going to allow Norman by.
That was close. So close. Conover recovers. I mean, that just tells you how good Conover is, though. Makes that little mistake and is able to recover and not really lose any positions, just back to third. But we'll see whether Norman will allow any more challenges from Josh Conover to come forward. Can only imagine what that radio sounds like right now.
Yeah, we talked about it last night. Hopefully we can get that software to work where we can bleep out any words that are not safe for listening. Hopefully we can get that working eventually in the future. That would be amazing.
Well, it is definitely a possibility. So well, the technological advancements, it takes time to get this stuff implemented, but we're definitely working on it. So Josh Conover down on the low side. He's going to slide up behind Ronnie Norman once again, and we're getting very close to the stage end here, coming up very shortly. The end of stage number 2 for the Never Forget 200 here at Kansas.
Reeder with a good run underneath Conover. Can he make it? He did. Conover let him have it.
He did, but did he get it by the start-finish line?
I believe he did. Conover just let him by there.
Well, there you go. Cody Reeder getting third place. Eric Sable taking his second straight stage win. Ronnie Norman in second place. Cody Reeder in third. Josh Conover in fourth. And Sean Briscoe in fifth. As this one flies by here, we're almost halfway through this one. So we're going to take a momentary break, let these guys get into the pits, and then we'll be back with the remainder of the Never Forget 200 right here on VirtualRacing.Network. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. Eric Sable drives out of the pits, still in front, but Cody Reeder, once again, someone manages to get by Ronnie Norman, and it's Cody Reeder this time, as Josh Conover still back in fourth place, Sean Briscoe in fifth. So as mentioned, why don't we go ahead and take a look here at the current point standings coming into tonight's race. There you can see it on the right-hand side of the screen. Of course, all the drivers in red are the championship drivers, with being out tonight. And by the way, congratulations, as he says in the YouTube chat room, Christopher Heights, thank you, baby girl. Came at 2:25 a.m. Would love to run, but the wife would kill me. Certainly, he's got his priorities in order, but unfortunately, he's going to be dropping out of the playoffs because of that. But Torn Shirts was tied with Christopher Heights, so by default, he'll take over 8th place in the championship here tonight. Jacob Platalich in there as well, and you see just how tight some of these battles are. Just 3 points the difference between Brian Jones and Josh Conover, so it's kind of shocking that Jones isn't further up there in this race. You do wonder what is going on there. Eric Sable neck and neck with Conover and Brian Jones in this battle. Tim Harper right up there as well, racing for this championship. So a lot of these drivers well within reach, and of course they would love to say that they won this part of the championship as well, this round of the playoffs. But here's the owner points, still the same through the top 7. Harper Motorsports changing a couple of positions, and we're ready to get going here once again at Kansas for the NORA Truck Series on lap number 84. We're back under green. Eric Sable leads the way.
Yeah, not a terrific start there by Cody Reeder, but he's still going to be able to capitalize, and will move in front of Norman there as they go in through 1 and 2 here. You can see 2 wide throughout the field, 4th on back. Looks like that's Torn Shirts underneath Conover for 5th.
Absolutely, still side by side for 2nd place. We've got some trucks in the wall.
Oh man, that was big. Torn Shirts into Josh Conover, and then it all went on from there. It's still going. People sliding into this one. The 93 of Jacob Malone totaled. Corey Danielson collected.
So many trucks involved. Championship contenders, including Timothy Harper. Looks like Brian Jones at least went off of the track. So let's see if we can tell what happened. This was
something happened to Torn Shirts. Look at
already
that.
well into this incident, indeed. Let's see if we can tell exactly what's going on with Shirts there. But we'll jump overhead. That seems to be the best vantage point. Back this one up just a little bit. So looks like he just gets loose mid-corner. Doesn't get a nudge or anything. He goes up and slams.
Oh, man.
My goodness. So many drivers involved in this.
What a wild ride for Jacob Malone in that 93. Brian Jones able to go through the grass, avoid everything, but take a look. Jacob Malone in the 93. Watch this. Oh, man.
Well, you know what that means. We're going to have to go on board and watch this one.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
get the bucket ready. It's about to get dizzy.
This is, he's already into this one. Here we go. Buckle up your seatbelts. Down tight. It's going to be a bumpy ride for Jacob Malone. My goodness. Definitely one you got to get your hand off the steering wheel.
Oh, yeah. A lot of guys made some good avoidance there going through the grass. Brian Jones, one of them.
So with that, a lot of these drivers are going to be coming into the pits as well. Here's on board with Brian Jones.
Oh. He actually hit Tim Harper and turned him around.
Well, that certainly would explain Tim's involvement in this thing. Let's take a look from Tim's point of view, what he saw.
It just got tapped by Brian Jones into McGuire there. And Harper probably not too happy with Brian Jones there. He's he's checking up for the wreck. Brian kind of still not necessarily in the throttle, but not braking as much as he would. Tim Harper would like him to. But man, that 17 is destroyed.
Well, Conover's night has taken a turn for the worse, and that machine has seen better nights out there on the racetrack. So there he is sitting in the pits. Jacob Malone is, and Conover as well, still sitting in those pits at the moment. See how much damage is on that thing. So destroyed. Unfortunate stuff for one of the championship contenders. So we've got several of the championship contenders involved. Tim Harper, Torrin Schertz, Josh Conover.
Look what this is allowed to happen. Nick Gillis, he is up in 6th position now. He's got to have one of the best nights of the season, and he's in position to capitalize with some points here if he's able to stay up toward the front.
Very interesting stuff. So Gillis right now is going to be restarting in 4th. Driver out of Lake City, Florida. He's done some co-commentating work here on VirtualRacing.Network, but he's also one heck of a driver. And right now he's sitting in that 4th spot. Could tonight be Nick's night? Starting to shape up that way. We're back under green here at Kansas. He's now side by side. That's with Cody Reeder.
I believe that's Sean Briscoe actually in the 39 to the outside, and Reeder battling with Norman. Oh, he was giving the business to Ronnie Norman's back bumper down the straightaway. Norman was blocking for everything he had. Man, he almost got turned around there.
Now Nick Gillis moves into 3rd as they're 3 wide coming down the front stretch.
Yeah, the name we haven't seen up front, Patrick Calusio, relatively new to the league. He's a good friend of Conover's, racing on his team. Having a good run here tonight, running in 6th place there underneath Blade Timmons.
Good catch up 16 spots. Right now, Gillis, biggest climber, up 18 spots. He's all the way up into that 3rd spot, and he's loving it. And by the way, I'm sure you saw this very patriotic paint scheme on the front with also, I believe that's a lot of the names of those who were part of September 11th there. But unfortunate thing to have to remember, but it is one of those things that we do remember every year when September 11th rolls around. We never forget. That's the namesake of tonight's race, the Never Forget 200. Many of these drivers carrying those special paint schemes to honor those who were caught up in that event. Side by side back here, though, for Briscoe as he now pulls it down into 6th. Briscoe going to try to challenge Joshua O'Connor there in that number 18 machine that's on the outside. The in and out machine down low. Briscoe going to try to follow through. And they race 2 rows deep, side by side into the corner. Looks like Briscoe, it's going to work out to follow Cody Reeder forward. Now on the inside of Nick Gillis. Gillis back into 4th, and now looks like Joshua O'Connor gets stopped up behind Gillis. They make it 3 wide. I believe Gillis might have touched the wall there on exit.
Yeah, Gillis right now just does not have the pace to keep up there. Maybe possibly a tire strategy call, maybe smiring him back. I'm not sure what caused him to lose that much momentum there, but he lost, I think, 5 positions in a matter of 1 lap. So,
well, Gillis shows 15 seconds in the box, so that would indicate he did take all 4. But possibly just driving a little hard, maybe overcooking the tires a little bit.
Either that, driving extra conservative, trying to save the tires for the end of this race.
That's also another factor. Sometimes you can be conservative to a fault, and it can really hurt your race. But either way, Guileless now all the way back into the 8th position as we're watching Dylan Walterman and Guileless racing side by side.
Wow, Slauson drove it into that corner with a really good run here on these two. Let's see if he tries to make it 3 wide on him. He's got a good run. He's going to help Nick Guileless for now. He's going to get to the outside of Walterman, possibly. Not quite there. New look for Todd Slauson this week, bringing Bass Pro Shops and Husky Liners out here. Oh, a little tag to the wall there.
These drivers still going side by side. Coluccio on that low line now for Flatline, racing with Amazon sponsorship on there. Walterman pulls down low as well. So Coluccio following Walterman forward. There's Guileless on the outside with that U.S. Air Force sponsorship. These guys
we don't typically see in Truck Series right there behind them. Matthew George coming down here to the trucks and running that number 4 truck.
That's a great point. But you also might be thinking about what's coming up tomorrow night. The NORA Cup Series in the playoffs, and Matthew George a part of that. It's possibilities doing it like the real life drivers, just getting some extra seat time here at Kansas and getting a chance to feel it out, how the race pace is over the long run, how the different lines play out. Of course, George has plenty of experience, but you can't get too much seat time, especially leading up to a very important race like the playoffs.
Yeah, Matthew George, he's been one of the guys that's been here since day one with me and a couple others here. And, you know, slowly over time, I've seen him get better and better. And finally this year, able to break into the win column. Him and Todd Slauson have the most starts here, I believe, in the trucks. I think Keegan Bitzer in the 5, who usually runs that 5, also has that many starts. So a lot of long-time drivers that are getting better and better each year. Love to see it.
Well, and that's definitely the point of getting out there racing as many of the races as you can over the season and just trying to improve. Get a chance to really start to sharpen that pencil, and sooner or later you find yourself in the playoffs just like George is. Wow, 22, basically almost getting into the back of Walterman. Walterman kind of all over the place.
Now he almost got into the 5 there.
He sure did, as there's a lot of action back here racing for 11th place.
Where else can you see battling like this? About, 15 laps into the run we are, and these guys are 2 wide, 3 wide back in the back for 10th place. I mean, man.
Everybody
the only
racing
other track
for
I can
everything.
think is, like Daytona or something.
Exactly. Well, I mean, again, but at Daytona, there's a little bit different drafting trains that sort of show up at a plate track, but certainly here, it's one of the most raceable NASCAR tracks on the schedule, and it's always great when we get a chance to visit here because multiple lines, and certainly if you race it at night, not a lot of tire degradation, so it's not going to play a factor. Really gives us a chance to see these guys fighting it out for position and racing really hard all the way through the field. How about Joshua O'Connor up into 4th place here, filling in for Christopher Heights in that number 18 machine. He's looking pretty good. Sean Briscoe just in front of him for Capital Motor Club. He's kind of closing in on these top 2 of Eric Sable and Ronnie Norman. And, Christian, he may not have gotten up there and gotten the win in the first stages or the 2nd place, but this is the one that pays all the points right here at the end. And Sean Briscoe is just dying to get in that win column before the end of this season.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've talked to him many times, and he's beaten himself up that he's not able to get that win yet. Every time that we talk to him, it's either second or third. And he's like, I just want one position better. One more.
Well, any night could be his night because Briscoe has that kind of speed, that kind of talent. But it's been difficult going as Eric Sable and Josh Conover and a number of other drivers have been able to step in and get it done week in and week out. And it just always seems like he's the bridesmaid. But perhaps this week is his night. We'll see him in the winner's column after all, but wouldn't it be funny if he won the championship never winning a race?
It's possible. People have come close to doing it in real life. Ryan Newman, one of those who almost was able to get that done. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Ryan Blaney made it to the round of 8 last year without a win. So it's possible.
It is indeed possible, but
actually, Matt Crafton actually was able to do it. He won a championship in the Truck Series without getting a single win, so it's doable.
Well, that is amazing. Bit of trivia. I have no idea where you pulled that out of, but nice job. Christian Snyder.
I was out of the old memory bank, believe it or not. No Google required.
Our NASCAR encyclopedia, Christian Snyder. Certainly appreciate all the good info. But we've got one heck of a battle going on. This one anything but decided. Eric Sable out there in front. Ronnie Norman, his teammate, got a tail gunning for him in second place. But Sean Briscoe right on their heels and trying to break into that top 2. We'll see whether or not he's able to do so. Joshua O'Connor in fourth place. Knew it was going to happen. Up 12 spots for Harper Motorsports. I mean, what a stellar run he's having right now. Chris Heitz is sitting there thinking, man, they really tuned that thing up good at Harper. I would have loved to have been in that rocket tonight. But speaking of rockets, here comes Cody Reeder. He was in 5th. He just slid by Joshua O'Connor on the low side. O'Connor would have seen him coming in the relatives. He would have known that Cody was about to try to make that pass, and now he's going to try to stick to the rear bumper and see if he can hold with him. But Cody Reeder on the march forward. He's gained 7 positions from where he started. Looks like he's got a pretty fast truck right now. Last time by a 32.05, and that's about 2.5 tenths faster than the 2 trucks in front of him, and 3 tenths faster than the top truck, Eric Sable. So Cody Reeder saving some tires and able to get it done. That time a 32.20.
Sorry to interrupt, but we have a massive battle going on from 7th to 11th. These guys still going at it, man. These guys too wide here. Slauson and Coluccio. Slauson tried making a move on Gillis the last lap. I believe Walterman got passed by Matthew George and then passed him back, and that's all within 2 laps. So these guys battling for everything that they've got here late in this race. Well, we still will need 1 pit stop, so these guys trying to get as many positions before that pit stop and have a clean entry and clean exit. And we might see some strategy. Maybe some people will take 2 tires, no tires. Anything could happen here. People need wins.
Absolutely need wins and need points if you're in this championship contingency in the playoffs. Joshua Conover getting back out on the track and trying to get some points himself, although he is about 8 laps down at the moment. So just trying to get some laps in that machine and take away as many points as he can at the end of the night. And only 1 position ahead is Brian Jones. That machine must be heavily damaged because he's well back in the field, sitting in 19th place, although he is still on the lead lap. So still a lot of opportunity for him. But as you said, we take a look back here, and this battle is still cooking between Todd Slauson, Nick Eilis, Patrick Coluccio. Coluccio there in that number 5 goes underneath Todd Slauson. And here comes Matthew George in that number 4 truck. And it looks like Slauson may have touched the wall.
Yeah, he touched it coming out of turn 2 and got back into it there in turn 3. Just entering a little too high there, and the truck's starting to get tight on him, and he gets into the wall there. And now his teammate Brad Fulham going to go underneath, slide job in front of him. Easy, guys. We don't want to wreck each other.
Indeed.
As an owner, I have nightmares about my teammates running side by side and wrecking each other. It's happened before this season.
It has happened this season. We try not to talk about that too much. There are other incidents that have occurred for the Full Send Motorsports team this season that we try not to talk about as much as we can. Hello to Stephen Dombrowski, who has finally made it here tonight. I'm sure there's some wild excuse why you weren't here rooting on your man Ronnie Norman, but he's been holding down the fort up here in second place, right behind Eric Sable, his teammate. And it's probably work or something crazy like that, but I don't know what can keep you away from the NORA Truck Series playoff action. This has been an exciting race here for the Never Forget 200, as Eric Sable had to struggle in the opening part of this race. Blake Timmons was up there in the lead for a little bit. Had a couple of drivers, Torrin Shirts up there in the lead for a little bit, but unfortunately, nobody able to challenge Sable once he got back in the lead. And now we've got this side-by-side battle happening between Joshua O'Connor and Blade Timmons. This is for 5th place on the track.
Yeah, Blade Timmons, he's driving that number 3 truck, which is in the owners' playoffs, and having a good run. So pretty sure that 3 will advance, and we'll see him possibly fill in next round in that 3 truck and try to get a owners championship. It would be nice to see the number 3 get a championship.
It would be interesting. There's a lot of trucks vying for that, but the 3 is going for it. Blade finally gets that pass done and gets back to where he qualified in 5th place. We'll see whether or not O'Connor wants to try to make that pass happen again. He drifts up to the high side, and I think finally Blade is going to be able to kind of eke out that lead. Look back here, there's still this battle going on between Coluccio and Matthew George. That is for 8th and 9th place. Todd Slauson deciding to do the undercut strategy. He'll come down, be the first one to take on tires and fuel for the end of this race. Corey Danielson next to follow suit, and we expect to start seeing some of the leaders here very soon as they get ready to do the same.
And I talked to Todd earlier in the week, and I said, Kansas is a good opportunity for you, maybe to pull some strategy, take 2 tires. So interesting to see what strategy he ends up using here tonight to try to get himself a win. But up front, Cody Reeder kind of run down Norman and Sable now, kind of made himself part of this picture. Briscoe slowly riding into this one as well, about a 0.7 of a second back there off of Reeder.
Well, Sable holding well at the front with Ronnie Norman, but here comes Cody Reeder, possibly to spoil this party. Reeder's been coming on strong, and as the times start going up higher and higher, Reeder has been able to put in consistently faster laps, and as a result, there he is. Now, lap traffic may play a role in this.
Yeah, this is going to help Eric Sable on the straightaways, but if he catches these lap trucks at the wrong part of the corner, it's going to be very bad for him. But right now you see Corey Danielson, he's going to move up to the top here, allow Sable to draft off of him. That's going to help him down the straightaway. Oh, now here we go. Cody Reeder going to try on the bottom here.
He makes the move down to the low side. Is he going to try to take them both in one corner? No,
he's going to pit.
He fakes him out. Well, he certainly left it until the last second, Cody Reeder did. And now he pulls it down onto pit lane. Long pit lane here. Kansas.
Really good into the box there.
Super important to get right on the marks. You can't see the pit crew. Of course, the pit crew will actually adjust to where you are on the marks, but if you're just a little bit further forward or backwards, the pit crew does have to adjust, and that can affect your pit stop time, so you do want to watch that.
Sable and Norman have made their pit stops here. They're coming into their boxes.
Eric Sable.
See if they're able to get a good pit here. Sable's in, Norman's in.
Pitting out.
A little slow for Norman.
Pitting out of the lead in second place. Sable and Norman. I'm going to see. Looks like Sable well ahead in the pit stop, and he's going to open a small gap exiting pit road. So that's actually quite a bit of time there, as Sable that time was 14.70 seconds in the box, and Norman 14.92, so a little over 0.2 of a second in the box.
And that was because Ronnie had a truck in the pit stall right behind his, so he wasn't quite able to see the box as well as he normally would. With there being a truck being worked on in pit road. But now we see the rest of the field coming in except for Nick Geilis. Geilis going to stay out there, but Briscoe, Timmons, George, and Coluccio all come in. Torn Shirts is going to stay out there. He's got some significant damage to that truck. Geilis trying to catch a caution. That's his best bet right now to possibly get a win. So he's trying to catch a caution, doesn't get it. He'll pull into the pits now.
A little loose, braking hard coming into the pits, but Geilis does manage to get it woed up. Coming in on lap number 106, leading into 107. So you see there, he had to back up just a tiny bit. That'll cost him, but fortunately not one of the worst that we've seen or that you can do. Get that
and
one.
I tell you what, looking on track, Cody Reeder has surpassed Eric Sable and Ronnie Norman, which Norman actually pretty far back now. He lost positions to Todd, McGuire, Harper. I think Harper still hasn't pit. He's got damage, but he's lost a couple positions there. He's lost him with that undercut strategy. Has moved in front of him.
And I think Reeder, I mean, I can't tell exactly where that time came from, because Reeder spent more time on pit lane according to our software than Eric Sable did, and yet you're absolutely right, he did pull that strategy. So are we talking by undercutting just by one lap, he was able to make up possibly a full second on Eric Sable?
Well, even the entry and exit to pit road, it's not quite counted during pit road time, so he maximizes that. We saw a very aggressive entry. You said it was last second. Well, these guys at KPR, they pride themselves in maximizing pit road entry and exit. We've seen it bite them a few times this season. Kleba over in the Cup Series kind of stepped over the limit at Dover and lost the race due to it. So, but these guys are some of the best out there at pitting in and pitting out at KPR Motorsports.
Well, just like that, here we can see this battle going on. This is Cody Reeder.
This is for the lead, essentially.
Essentially, as Eric Sable and Joshua O'Connor now battling it out hardcore behind. This is O'Connor sliding up and almost getting into Sable, and now it straightens out, but that was some serious action there for a moment as we wait for Torn Shirts and Brian Jones to pit and give up the lead to Eric Sable.
Yeah, these are essentially your top 5 right here.
And
Cody Reeder. Yeah, Cody Reeder, Sable, O'Connor, and Norman and Slauson are your top 5 currently. As soon as I believe Schertz and Jones, as soon as they pit, that'll cycle these guys to the lead.
Schertz now pulls it down onto pit lane, leaving just Jones out there to pit. This gap coming down in a huge hurry. Here it is, the move from Eric Sable to get by Cody Reeder. This is for the essential lead of the race with just 23 laps remaining.
And I'm going to tell you right now, for the next 23 laps, these guys are going to be battling. They're not going to stop. If I'm not mistaken, these are actually the 2 trucks that were involved in the last Kansas race battle for the win. Brian Jones was able to capitalize. You see contact here between the 9 and 85. It's shades of last Kansas.
Oh my goodness. As they get very close to that truck down on the apron, but this is side by side between 2 of the drivers that are in this championship playoffs, both going for the win here. Ironically, Brian Jones, who's in the lead of the championship at the moment, is waiting to come into the pits, and as soon as he does, he will drop well back in the order. Right now, this is the battle on the track as Sable and Reeder battling it out for the win.
Oh, here comes Sable's teammate, Ronnie Norman. He's begging him, get up here. Get rid of this 40 or the 85 for me. Get rid of him.
Joshua O'Connor, no match for Ronnie Norman as Stormin Norman comes back through the field. And Norman has really caught back up now to these 2 front runners. Remember, he did drop back well over a second after that round of pit stops, but he's now looking at the backside of Cody Reeder and catching up in a hurry. Getting a little bit further back, we've got a little bit of a battle here. Tim Harper just in front of David McGuire. This is for 11th spot. We watch to see whether or not McGuire can get up there and get a top 10 out of the night. Brian Jones now finally pits. Pitting.
Jenks, you owe me a soda?
I owe you much more than that, Christian. Doing a pretty bang-up job here as one of the best color code commentators. And by the way, not just that.
It's that time, isn't it?
It really is. It's the 20 to go. Sponsored by Snyder Graphics. Facebook.com/Snyder Graphics. Sprinkled through the field are some of the Snyder Graphics mobiles. But what a great job he'll do for you if you need a custom paint scheme for your Craftsman truck or your next-gen machine. Shoot, if it's on iRacing, Snyder Graphics can come up with whatever your dream is. So visit Facebook.com/Snyder Graphics. And he also designed that logo that we're using tonight, the Never Forget 200.
You covered it. I was going to bring it up, but you covered it there, yeah. Do logos as well over here.
So logos, whatever you need, great graphic design over there. You're doing a bang-up job, Christian Snyder. He also does color commentary. I don't know if you were aware of that.
Yeah, I pride myself saying that I'm pretty good, so I thank you for that compliment. But I think I'm pretty good. Hopefully everyone enjoys my commentary throughout the season. But right now, Norman having a little bit of trouble getting around Torn Shirts. He's a lap down essentially from Norman, but Torn Shirts just having a heck of a run here trying to get his lap back. Thank you.
That's, of course, for you, Christian.
I know what I'm doing,
And certainly he does know what he's doing, whether it's behind the mic or anything else. This is still one heck of a battle happening up here at the front as Cody Reeder has still gotten by Eric Sable for that position. Lap car moves out of the way.
Yeah, but now another lap car getting into this one, Torn Shirts.
Can you believe Torn Shirts is a lapped truck in this race? That's crazy. But Shirts is now playing a role as we have 14 laps to go, and he does not want to give it up. He has every right to fight to try to get his lap back.
Yeah, absolutely, and I applaud this right now. If he gets the lap back and a caution comes out, it puts him in a better position than if he would be the lucky dog. So that was a great move by Torn Shirts to go up there and pass these guys and get back on the lead lap.
So I'm wondering if Shirts is so far back from that earlier caution that we had. I kind of lost track of him a little bit through the race, but interesting to see a guy who has enough talent to get up there past these two leaders, mired being a lap down, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, so to speak. So he's holding his own out there, basically starting to pull away from our leader, Cody Reeder.
Yeah, this is actually helping Cody Reeder because he's now got a truck that he can draft off of to try to pull away from Eric Sable. And so far you can see that gap kind of slowly increasing between these two. Sable trying everything he can to catch back up, but with Reeder using the draft, he's able to pull him on the straightaways now. But it looks like Torn Shirts is going to be pulling away too far here soon for Reeder to use him as a draft partner.
Well, we watch on board with Eric Sable as he now tries everything that he can to get up behind that number 85 and make a move. Dylan Walterman slow down there on the apron. Sable takes a look down the inside of Cody Reeder. Just 11 laps to go. Gonna have a battle here for the lead, possibly to the end of this one. And then it's only about half a second back to Ronnie Norman, and not that far back right now to Sean Briscoe, who's sitting in 4th place. Blade Timmons in 5th, Matthew George in 6th. How about Todd Slauson? Todd Slauson getting back into 8th place. Nick Geilis holding on now in 9th.
Yeah, which 9th place right now with Torn Shirts getting back on the lead lap in the 16th spot. That's only 7 points. So that's not enough for Nick Geilis to point his way in. He needs 15 more than Torn Shirts, and I don't know if these guys got any stage points. So he's gotta do a little bit better here late in the going, but he doesn't have many cars to pass. He's 2.2 seconds back from Todd Slauson right now.
Yeah, it's not like this isn't Days of Thunder. You can't just drop the hammer and hopefully go faster. There's not much you can really do if you're Geilis right now, except probably say a little prayer that you can catch a break and get an extra place, or somehow be able to catch up with the group in front. But Cody Reeder doing what he needs to do right now in this fight for the win to hold a gap over Eric Sable and Ronnie Norman right there as well. But I think he's just a little too far back to play a role at the moment. Sable,
not anymore. He's in this now. He's gonna get up there to Sable, and he's gonna work with him as much as he can. He's in this one now.
Well, I'm seeing that both Norman and Briscoe have closed in. They've both gained about 2/10 or 3/10 of a lap, second a lap there. So they're both closing in at the moment. Norman the closest, but Briscoe may still have something to say about this before it's all over as well.
Right now, Sable doing everything he can to try to catch Cody Reeder. Reeder just barely sniffing that draft of that lap truck ahead of him. That's what's able to keep him in front of Sable right now. But Sable, he's gotta work the outside, get a run, manufacture it, and get beside him on a straightaway. Maybe he'll dive bomb him here. No, he's going to choose to stay behind him. He had a good run there going into one, but did not take advantage of it this time.
He really did. I'm wondering if he's just biding his time, trying to cool off those tires a little bit, make sure he gives himself plenty of gap to make that lunge. I mean, we're making it sound as though he can pick and choose. Of course, Cody Reeder out there doing great laps as well. So we'll see whether or not Sable manages to do it. But Ronnie Norman, as you said, has come calling. He is right in the middle of this one. He is there to pick up the pieces. If Sable can't do it, I don't know if he's going to necessarily look for the win, but he could before this is all over. He wouldn't mind taking a win.
Oh, look at Sable. He's running a half a lane lower than Cody Reeder, trying to get the air to his nose, trying not to be in dirty air. That's going to allow him to get a little bit of a run down the front stretch here again. Norman, too, he gets a good run. Let's see if he does anything with it here. Sable going to choose to stay behind him there, half a lane lower. Now Reeder sees that. He's going to drop half a lane, give the dirty air to Sable, gets tight on exit. So now you see that there's no run for Sable down the backstretch.
Well, just under 5 laps to go, 4 to go. This time by 3 to go. It's all starting to shape up for the end of this race. 3 trucks in a row, less than half a second apart, could take this victory. Will we see a last lap lunge from Eric Sable to try to steal this victory away from Cody Reeder, or will Reeder be able to climb 10 positions in this race and be able to take victory before it's all done? We watch on to find out. Just 2 to go this time by. They flash under Barney the flag man. He watches on. He's readying that white flag. It'll be out in just a moment. Is Eric Sable going to be able to make a last lap move? That is the question. Will Ronnie Norman try to make a last lap move? In the meantime, Sean Briscoe has closed that gap just ever so much, but he's just a little too far back to be a factor in this battle for the front. White flag is out in the hands of Barney the Flagman. One more time around Kansas to decide round number 19, the Never Forget 200, and there goes Eric Sable down to the low side.
He is trying everything he can. The inside maybe just not there right now. He's going to lose momentum down the backstretch. Let's see what he's able to do here through 3 and 4. Goes back down to the bottom, tries driving it hard. But Cody Reeder going to use the momentum on the outside, and Cody Reeder is going to be your winner here for the Never Forget 200 at Kansas.
What a beautiful victory for Cody Reeder, and it has been such a long time coming for the driver at KPR Motorsports. He's been patient. He fought hard. He was not there in the first and the second stage at the point, but he managed to come back and take the victory with some keen pit stop strategy and hold on to that top spot from Eric Sable. Eric Sable drives it in hard into the pits, as does Ronnie Norman. Sean Briscoe in 4th, Blade Timmons in 5th. As Cody Reeder fires it up to start celebrating here, we're going to catch our breath. We'll get the final results for you, and we will talk with the top 3 drivers in the Never Forget 200 Victory Lane discussion. Stay tuned. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. That was one heck of a run from Cody Reeder. He takes victory here in the NORA Truck Series playoffs for round number 19 at Kansas. The Never Forget 200, honoring those victims of September 11th. Congratulations to him. He'll move forward for sure in the playoffs, as will Eric Sable based off of points. So no worries there. But Ronnie Norman going to take 3rd place. Sean Briscoe in 4th. Very hard-fought race for Sean, but we still wonder, will he manage to get in that win column before the end of the season? That is anyone's guess. Blade Timmons in 5th, Matthew George in 6th, Joshua O'Connor in 7th, Todd Slauson in 8th place, Nick Geilis in 9th, Brad Fulham in 10th, Patrick Coluccio in 11th, Jacob Gladelich in 12th, David McGuire 13th, Cody Height in 14th, Timothy Harper in 15th, Torrin Schertz finishes in 16th place, Brian Jones finishing in 17th place, Corey Danielson in 18th, and rounding out the order, Dylan Walterman in 19th, Josh Conover in 20th, Jacob Malone in 21st, Everett Couts in 22nd, and Mark Morton did not make the start tonight. So with that, I think we're going to get a chance now to talk with our top 3. And Christian, you had a chance to catch up with Ronnie Norman of the JRC Sim Team.
Yeah, I'm down here on pit road. My good buddy Ronnie Norman here, finishing 3rd. You pay the bills up here, so we got to be nice to you. Congrats, man, on the 3rd place. I know this isn't what you wanted the outcome to be. I know you and Sable pretty much dominated the majority of the race, but then pit stops. Cody Reeder able to jump in front of you guys, but still a fantastic job to get a top 3 here. Sable going to be locked into the next round. So tell us about that race and how it went for you.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome race. Couldn't be more happy with the results. JRC came out 1, 2, 3, sweeping the top 3 spots for qualifying, so that was cool to see. I don't think we've done that one yet. Yeah, no, just it was just fun running up front all night with Eric. Just trying to stay behind him. The truck felt pretty stable even behind him, and running low and high and all the fun stuff. So I don't really know if there was too much more we could have done. We were just kind of playing the waiting game of trying to figure out when to pit, when to not pit, what to do. So we were like, do we run it dry? What do we do here? And then finally, when we seen we had like a 2-second lead to 4th, we just kind of decided to wait it out and wait for Briscoe or Reeder to pit. So when Reeder went in, we knew we had to go in the next time. And there toward the end of the race, I think it just turned into a whoever had the lead, and there was just no drive off the corners. I know Sable was doing everything he could to try to get up beside him, but there toward the end of that long run there, coming to the end of the race, it was just the tires are just starting to go, and there was just no grip, and you're just kind of sitting duck. And so it was we did all we could. Like I said, I was just trying to help Eric out with him running for the championship here in the Truck Series. So truck was clean, can't complain. Top 3. Yeah, no, it was a fun race.
Yeah, and your fan club and YouTube, I'm sure, very happy with the 3rd place. They get to hear you in the interview booth here. But you got a couple good tracks for you coming up. I know Bristol, it's hit or miss for you, but a couple good tracks there in the next round. So how do you feel going into that with you and Sable working together throughout the rest of the season here?
Yeah, no, you always got to love it whenever you see a short track coming up on the schedule. So should be another fun, interesting race next Monday night here on VirtualRacing.Network. Luckily, we get to come back here again tomorrow night in the Cup Series and try to do, hopefully I can mirror what I did tonight and just run up front and not have any worries in the world. But tomorrow night it's a whole new handful of drivers, a lot of talent over there. So definitely, I don't feel like it's going to be, I'm not going to say tonight was easy, but tomorrow's definitely not going to be any easier. So yeah, we'll definitely look forward to tomorrow night. But yeah, Bristol is going to be a fun race. A lot of maybe some door banging, slide jobs. So hopefully no tempers get flared over there.
And we saw that tonight. A couple of tempers were flaring. I saw you and Josh Conover battling really hard earlier in the race, and I think some tempers maybe flared over for Josh there. But I mean, you got Talladega and Homestead coming up. I know Homestead, and that's one of your favorite tracks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, luckily it's the second to the last race of the season, so Homestead's always been really good to me. A lot of these wide open, let off, get back on the throttle type of tracks, run the high side, middle. Yeah, they're definitely my forte for sure. So looking at the the rest of the schedule, there's definitely not a bad track left for the trucks. I think it's Bristol, Dega, Homestead, and then Phoenix. So yeah, no, to end out the season here in the truck season, it'll be I'm sure every race will be really fun to watch here.
Well, hopefully we get to see that 6 truck in victory lane. We haven't seen it yet this season. I've seen you take victory in the Cup Series, so hopefully you're able to punch the ticket in the trucks. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go here tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank FanDuel for being on the truck tonight. FanDuel, NOS Energy Drink, McAllister Reynolds. I want to thank Snyder Graphics for making all my paint schemes for me. Shout out to you for updating this truck. It's needed an update for a while since the beginning of the season. Was able to update it. Got the American flag on the back of the truck tonight for 9/11. So very good reason to have that on there, as long as the decal on the side. So just thinking about everybody on this day. And what else we got here? Yeah, shout out to you guys, VirtualRacing.Network, for putting on these broadcasts. And actually, I wasn't the one that paid the bills for this race tonight. Big shout out to Todd Slauson for throwing the money out for this broadcast tonight. So big thanks to him. And just shout out to this JRC team. Like I said, I think we showed out pretty good tonight, other than, unfortunately, I think Everett got caught up in a wreck and didn't have as good as a run as we did. So he'll be back on it, next week or tomorrow. So just thanks to everybody who puts this league on. And congrats to Cody on the win and Sable in second. And yeah, no, like I said, I don't really, I think it's maybe my second or third top 3 of the season here in the Truck Series. So it's not easy to get up here. So definitely happy to be up here and talking to you guys.
All right, well, again, man, congrats on your 3rd place, and good luck the rest of the season, and good luck tomorrow in the Cup Series.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that's our 3rd place finisher, number 6 FanDuel truck of Ronnie Norman. 2nd place went to Eric Sable. We'll go ahead and bring him over here. If you don't mind, Trevor, I'll talk to him here. Eric Sable, it's Christian up in the booth. You got me here.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I mean, you finished 2nd. It's better outcome than what happened last time here in Kansas, but I know you wanted that win so bad. You did everything you could there on the last lap, kind of drove it deep into the corners. Is there anything you could have done different to get that win here tonight? What do you think kept you from victory lane?
Man, there's really not much more I can do. The aerial push behind somebody in these trucks and the amount of momentum you need to pass somebody here, you just didn't have it when you're behind somebody. Me and Ronnie held 1 and 2 all night long, completely dominated this race. And that's a big reason. You can't really pass at this place. And if someone's slower in front of you, okay, but when you have, competition like we have around here, where just everybody's so even. Cody Reeder, he pit 1 lap before I did, and me and Ronnie did, I should say. And, I think that's what got him this win. Just getting out in front and just holding that race and not making a mistake.
Yeah, we saw the gap after the pits, how he was able to gain almost a second over you. He wasn't necessarily faster in the box. He was actually slower in the pits, and he was just able to outmaneuver you getting in and out of the pit road. But, I mean, still, 2nd place, you got to be happy. You're locked into the next round. You got Bristol, Talladega, Homestead, some really good tracks. So how do you feel about the weeks coming up and your chances to make the Final 4?
Oh, the feelings of making the Final 4 and the chances are pretty high. Bristol, you don't know what's going to happen to Bristol. You can tear up some race cars and trucks out there, and, it's a big wonder going into Bristol next week. I don't run personally really good at Bristol. I never have in my 10, 12 years on this service, so it's going to be a challenge next week, but every time I say that, I run well. But my chances, hopefully JRC, and we can just get in top 4. Hopefully luck is on our side come Phoenix, because I don't run good there either. Any short track, I am horrible at for whatever reason. I just never just figure it out. So, Lady Luck just have to be on my side.
Hey, Lady Luck is sometimes the best part of racing. Sometimes luck is your best friend. So, Hopefully you're able to get another win here this season, lock yourself into that Final Four. I know I'm rooting for you and to get it done, but anyone you want to give a shout out to for your performance here tonight?
I just want to thank everybody on the JRC Sim team. Sport Clips, Ford Performance, Money Lion, Mobile One, Snyder Graphics, putting these paints together with the 9/11 tribute on the side. It's pretty cool. VirtualRacing.Network for the amazing broadcast week in, week out, and all the competitors out here. Everybody races, hard, and sometimes we get tangled up together, but at the end of the day, we're all racing for one thing, and that's a win. So every week in, week out is a blast around here. So.
All right, well, again, man, congrats on your second place finish here on podium, and good luck the rest of the season there, bud.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, Trevor, I've done enough talking here. I think you got the winner of this race, the number 85, Cody Reeder.
I do, in fact, and of course, tonight we're all thinking about the Never Forget 200, and definitely, as Ronnie said, big shout out to Todd Slauson for bringing that awareness here for all of us here tonight. And Cody Reeder, what a big night for you to punch that big W column and get in to easy second round of the playoffs. Congratulations here in Kansas. You have stolen the show. You take victory. How does it feel to win that one over such difficult competition such as Eric Sable and Ronnie Norman?
Oh man, yeah, it's a lot of different emotions right now. It's been a tough grind of a season. I feel like there's a lot of races I just gave away or couldn't finish, and this being one of them earlier this year. But this is my home track, so it means a lot to win here. It's a great one to get your first one, but it was a battle all night. I didn't have the greatest first stage, got my stuff together kind of the second stage, and just had to be patient in that last one.
Well, what was the key there? What was the difference maker from the first stage to the second and the third stage? Did you make some adjustments in the cockpit? Was it your driving line? Did the track change? What did you feel was key for you?
I felt the track was pretty consistent. The first run, it's hard to... So if you don't qualify in the top 3 or 4, it's just really hard to save your tires. And that's always been what I've been best at. And so... I'll never say I'm the best racer, most talented or anything, but what I do better than everybody else is I know how to save my stuff. And it's really hard in this league with the talent level and how hard everybody goes. If you save your tires, you're just going to get passed. And so Kansas is typically a place where you get long green flag runs. And so I was trying to bide my time, but then I realized the stage was running out of time and the stage, and by the time I got going, it was just kind of too late. Everybody was at the top, and at that point, you can't really pass. And then I finally got some pit. I had a good pit stop, got some track position, picked up a couple spots to start, and then at that point, I just started saving my tires, just seeing how it was going to work for that last run. And I mean, I got to maybe 2.5 seconds back, and basically finished on first and second's bumper to end the stage. And so I knew if I could just be patient and get clear of people I could save, kind of run my own race the track, race myself really. And I was just chipping away. And I knew that as soon as when I was getting closer, I knew they were going to pit. And so I thought to myself, well, I don't want to be behind them. I also don't want to pit with them. So I kind of went through a Hail Mary and faked them like I was going to pass and try and pass for the lead. Slammed the brakes, came to pit road, and that was really the difference at first. I got the lead. There was 3 or 4 laps when I got through traffic pretty well, and he couldn't. I got to really save there. Let him kind of take the lead. I just used his draft to keep my momentum. And when I passed him for the lead on the outside, I think he was really surprised that I went up there. But I had enough grip in the tire where I didn't even really lift and kind of blew right by him. And so he put up a good fight for a little bit, and at that point, the tires were pretty even. Here we are. So man, yeah, I'm just super excited.
Well, and you managed to do it over a championship contender who, of course, Eric has had so much success here in the NORA Truck Series already. It's it's got to feel really good for you, as you were sitting in 6th place, I believe, in the points coming into this one, to put one over on everybody at this stage of the playoffs, and it's got to give you a lot of confidence heading towards the end of these playoffs that, hey, I got just as good a shot at taking home this NORA Truck Series 2023 title as anyone else.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. I was losing a lot of confidence through the year. Like I said, I gave away some races and made some really stupid mistakes, and it kind of became Eric and Brian and Josh, and then kind of everybody else. And I was disappointed because I think that I can hang with those guys on my best day, and I just haven't really been proving it. So I feel like tonight's just more about proving it to myself that I can win, hang. Hopefully this brings us some momentum to the next round, and we can, keep working our way towards a championship. I mean, the goal, we got to get there first in Phoenix. It's not my best track, but hopefully this 5 bonus points or whatever it is gets me a little bit more of a buffer to where I can, just do what I need to do to advance. That's really the goal now.
Well, the great news is you are for sure moving on to the round of 8. You knew that beforehand, but this completely solidifies it and is going to give you an extra little point heading into that round of 8. So congratulations with that. Who would you like to give a shout out to before we close out the broadcast tonight?
Yeah, so I'm sorry this is kind of lengthy. I planned on doing this earlier in the year if I was going to win, but I had a little girl in February. That's my first win. That's her dad, so that's really exciting. So I want to shout out to her. Of course, it being 9/11, everybody knows what this day means to our country and what happened. So just thoughts are with the families that are probably still dealing and mourning and grieving, and then of course the troops and all that sacrificed kind of after the fact on everything that happened. But most of all, I want to just tell us a quick story if I can. Before the Mid-Ohio race, about an hour before we went green, I had learned that my cousin became really sick all of a sudden, kind of out of the blue, and was basically put in the hospital, put on a vent, had to go under emergency surgery, and it didn't go well. He was my best friend growing up, really most of my life, and he lost his life 3 days later. And one of the reasons this night and this race is so special to me is today is his birthday, and I just want to dedicate this one to him. Logan, I hope you're up there looking down. I felt like you were with me tonight, so I love you, buddy. Thanks for everything.
Well, that's certainly a very touching story, and I'm sure you had some special inspiration and some special help maybe across that finish line tonight. But a special night for a lot of different reasons, and that's just one of them. Of course, appreciate the shout out for the Never Forget 200 tonight for the victims and all of those who have worked to support around September 11th, and that's our awareness tonight. So thanks, Cody. You're a gracious winner, and certainly a very inspiring story for you to be able to go out there and get victory on your fallen friend's birthday. That's wonderful for you and for your family. So congratulations to you, my friend, and the good news is you can go to Bristol next week and not sweat it. You can do well, you can do poorly, it doesn't matter. You could just get through to the round of 8, and good luck with the rest of the playoffs. We'll be watching for you.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
You too. So that is Cody Reeder. He took victory here tonight. It's been a long time coming. Christian, this was one heck of a race here at Kansas. We saw some of the big guns come out and fire all the bullets that they had, but in the end, it was Cody Reeder, a guy that you might say it's been a long time coming. I mean, this guy, it's like Sean Briscoe. He's been gearing up to get a victory in this series, and he lost the confidence in the middle of the season, and you just heard his story, but who knows if he had some extra special help across the finish line tonight, but that is sure an inspiring story, and either way, just on talent, Cody really did prove that he belongs in this playoffs.
Yeah, he had an amazing race tonight, maybe a little bit of help from above, and You love to hear the stories, but at the same time, you know, it's a sad story, and glad he was able to notch his win. There's still so many guys that, believe it or not, haven't won. You know, Ronnie still hasn't won in the Truck Series. Briscoe, Tim Harper. So there's still a lot of guys out there. I think Torn Shirts also hasn't won. So a lot of guys with a lot of talent still winless here in the NORA Truck Series, and that just shows how much talent there is here in the trucks.
Absolutely. Well, that is going to wrap it up for us here for the NORA Truck Series 2023 from round number 19, Kansas, the Never Forget 200. If you're not already a subscriber here on VirtualRacing.Network, you're missing out. We've got 3 races a week, soon to possibly add more. Stay tuned for those details. And of course, if you're sitting out there, you're not subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Please like this video as well. We'll get it shared out there amongst all of the internetosphere and the YouTubeosphere. Everybody will find out about how great the NORA Truck Series is. And so with that, our next broadcast will be tomorrow night right here on VirtualRacing.Network, 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time. The NORA Cup Series 2023 playoffs are underway. You won't want to miss it. It's from right here in Kansas. Christian and I are going to go back to the motel room that they have us in. Unfortunately, only one of us gets to sleep in the bed. So we'll have to do rock, paper, scissors to figure out who gets to sleep in the bed tonight. But either way, we're here tomorrow night. Stay tuned on VirtualRacing.Network. We'll see you 8:25, as I mentioned. On behalf of everybody here in the NORA Truck Series and everybody that is trying to remember September 11th, we do appreciate you joining us in that awareness. So long, everybody. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you tomorrow.